Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday. It's a Harvey Briggs Wednesday.
Where are you driving today?
We are driving around town.
In what?
We are driving a Honda Pilot.
Oh, that's a popular car.
Very popular. Three-row SUV, so find out what he thinks about it.
And it's vacation eve for you, you lucky duck.
Off to the...
To warmer weather.
Climate, yes. We'll talk about it later. We got a story coming up about cruise ships, and I'm going on a cruise, so that's coming up as well. But here's what's making news on this Wednesday. A moving service at Washington's National Cathedral as family, friends, and former presidents gather to say goodbye to George H.W. Bush.
A marathon overnight lame duck session at the state capitol ends at 8 a.m. this morning. What's heading to Governor Walker's desk for his signature? And reaction from Governor-elect Tony Evers just moments ago about that session. Rose Schmidt will have that for us live. Let's take a look outside this afternoon. It was nice to see the sun today, wasn't it?
Yeah, but then the clouds came in.
Yeah.
But this is, this is how cold it is. This is Lake Mendota. The lake's not frozen over yet, but the wash from the trees branches is.
That's a cool shot, actually.
Sure is cold. Sure is, Dana, who's in the backyard, and it's going to get colder the way it looks.
That is the game plan, actually, as we head towards the end of the week, guys. We have another blast of cold air that's going to be moving in. Alert day in effect for us for the end of the week, as it is expected to get a little chilly outside. Overall, do plan again on our temperatures to stay a little cold. Do plan on that again for the next few days. If we could bounce over to max 2 in the booth, that would be fantastic for us. Right now, our Doppler radar does look okay. If we can look all over outside right now with a few clouds, there we go. Our temperature trend right now at about 32 in Madison and in Janesville, close to 32 in Mineral Point and Monroe as well. That breeze coming from the southwest right now, but unfortunately, no warmer air really moving on in. Single digits wind speeds for Mineral Point and Janesville. You can feel that 10 mile per hour breeze though for us in Madison. Looking at our forecast for the next several hours, plan on temperatures to stay in the 20s with a few clouds in the sky. Man, we have had a cloudy stretch of days, and now we could actually get a little bit of sunshine. Actually, a really nice sunset is expected for us. Tomorrow, temperatures will be in the low 20s for afternoon highs, also expecting that variably cloudy sky with the potential for some sun mixed on in there as well. Bouncing to the roads currently throughout much of Dane County, we're looking okay. In Janesville, actually, looking okay as well. 39 seems to be rolling smoothly all the way through the state. Downtown Madison should be just fine. The Beltline, a lot of green stretching all the way from Fish Hatchery Road to John Nolan, and then again up towards even Gammon. Things are rolling around pretty smooth. We'll keep a close eye on traffic and again take a closer look at that potential alert day for us for the end of the week. What's ahead in just a few minutes.
18 for a high.
Yeah, get ready for that.
I'll be out of town.
You'll be long gone.
All right, so I have perfect timing with these things.
This happens every time you go on vacation, every year.
Skip out of here? Oh, man.
We'll see you in a few minutes, Dana. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, there was both laughter and tears as thousands gathered in the National Cathedral to remember George H.W. Bush.
Courtney Zabowski reports from Houston, where the tributes will continue for the nation's 41st president.
With a 21-gun salute, the Bush family gathered, hands on heart, as a casket began its journey to Washington's National Cathedral. President Trump and the First Lady joined 3 former presidents and their wives to pay final respects to George Herbert Walker Bush. A 4th former president, George W. Bush, delivered a eulogy for his father, full of humor.
He wasn't exactly Fred Astaire on the dance floor. The man couldn't stomach vegetables, especially broccoli. And by the way, he passed these genetic defects along to us.
And affection.
Let us know the blessings of knowing and loving you, a great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have. And in our grief, let us smile knowing that Dad is hugging Robin and holding Mom's hand again.
Canada's former Prime Minister remembered the elder Bush's contribution to the nation and complimented his leadership.
When George Bush was President of the United States of America, every single head of government in the world knew that they were dealing with a gentleman, a genuine leader, one who was distinguished, resolute, and brave.
Irish tenor Ronan Tynan joined the Armed Force Chorus and the United States Marine Orchestra in the song Last Full Measure of Devotion, based on the words of Abraham Lincoln. 3 of Mr. Bush's granddaughters read scriptures from the Bible.
Mourning and crying and pain will be no more.
Following the state funeral, there was a send-off at Joint Base Andrews as Mr. Bush's body was loaded onto a plane headed for Texas. After Washington's goodbye to the 41st president, Houston will have the final salute. His remains will lie in repose here at St. Martin's Episcopal Church until Thursday's funeral service. Former Senator Alan Simpson was one of Mr. Bush's oldest friends and remembered him as a man of rare character.
Those who travel the high road of humility in Washington, D.C. are not bothered by heavy traffic.
Mr. Bush will be buried on the grounds of his presidential library in College Station. He'll be laid to rest next to his wife, Barbara, who passed away earlier this year, and their daughter, Robin, who died at the age of 3. Courtney Zabowski for WISC News 3.
And the plane carrying the casket of President Bush and his family is scheduled to arrive in Houston within the next half hour. We'll have that later in this newscast.
Governor Scott Walker has bills waiting on his desk to strip powers from the incoming governor and attorney general following a marathon lame duck session that ended at 8 o'clock this morning. Lawmakers were in session all night on the measures. The Republican bills would take away the governor's power to appoint the head of the state's job creation agency until September. The plan also would make it difficult for the attorney general to withdraw Wisconsin from a lawsuit to disband the Affordable Care Act and cut early voting time to 2 weeks.
I'm extremely disappointed that we're here today. I'm extremely angry that we're even having this discussion. The vote is read. The voters have spoken, and it's time to listen.
My hope is that as we go through the holiday season, we continue to look for ways to be able to work together and find at the end of the day that that many of the things that the Democrats had brought up were nothing more than hyperbole and exaggeration.
The bills now go to Governor Scott Walker for his signature. He has signaled support for some issues, but has not said whether he would sign or veto any of the measures specifically. The incoming governor and attorney general are fighting back today against the plans to strip their powers.
Tony Evers and Brad Call are calling on Governor Walker to veto the measures. Our Rose Schmidt just was at a news conference that wrapped up within the last hour with the Democratic team. She joins us now live. Rose?
That's right. Now, Governor-elect Tony Evers said that right now his main goal is making sure that Governor Walker vetoes this legislation. He says he plans on personally reaching out to him in hopes that he does that. Now, Evers and Attorney General-elect Josh Call spoke to reporters just 30 minutes ago at the headquarters of the state's job creation agency, WISC, likely because the legislation would temporarily take away Evers' power to appoint the CEO of WISC. Evers and Call said people of Wisconsin had very little input on the GOP bills passed last night, and Republican lawmakers are going against voters' wishes. Evers is now trying to figure out his next steps.
So we need to have people reach out to Governor Walker, and then we'll take, if the next step needs to happen, all issues are on the table, whether it's litigation or other issues. We're exploring anything to make sure that this legislation does not get into practice.
Speaker Robin Vos said this morning that much of Evers' communication with him was through the media, but Evers laughed when he was asked about this and said he did not even know what to say. The Lieutenant Governor-elect Mandela Barnes is also reiterating the idea that he and Evers are hoping to work with Republican legislatures once they take office. Now, with Governor Walker today in Washington, D.C., it's unknown when or if he will sign these bills. I reached out to his press secretary, but I have not heard back.
Rose Schmidt, live at the Capitol. Rose, thank you.
A supply rocket ship headed to the International Space Station took off this afternoon from Cape Canaveral. It's the 16th mission launched by SpaceX. The Falcon 9 rocket is filled with more than 5,600 pounds of supplies and payloads, including critical materials to directly support more than 250 science and research investigations that will occur aboard the orbiting laboratory. Included in the payload are thousands of worms. We'll find out why later in this newscast.
Still to come tonight on Live at 4, it's our monthly Tastemaker segment.
But this month, food isn't on the menu, wine is. We'll pay a visit to Atwood Avenue's Table Wine Shop when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. The U.S. Post Office is being urged to go after Amazon.
A task force led by the Treasury Department calls for raising prices on many commercial package deliveries. The report says the Postal Service is not correctly assessing the costs of delivering packages for online retailers. The post office has been losing money for more than a decade. President Trump has repeatedly called out Amazon and other online retailers, saying they benefit at the post office's expense. Amazon declined comment.
And there was no mail delivery today, and Wall Street was closed for the National Day of Mourning for President George H.W. Bush. If selecting wine is an intimidating experience for you, there's a place in Madison you might want to check out.
Table Wine offers affordable wine on a beer-heavy strip of Atwood Avenue. Madison Magazine's Andrea Bailing checks it out for this month's Tastemaker segment.
We are here at Table Wine with Molly Moran. Thank you for having us today.
Thanks for being here.
And we're going to go through a couple of wines that are good to bring to holiday parties.
Yeah.
So what do we have here?
So we're going to start with the wine that's in our glass, this beautiful pink wine. It's sparkling rosé from Spain. And a couple reasons that I think it's perfect for holidays. When you open a bottle of bubbly, it kind of immediately sets the mood, and it's, you know, it's a party. This particular one has some nice tingly acidity, so that makes it extra food friendly. So it just kind of pairs with kind of whatever you have, you know, when you're going through that holiday buffet. And it's dry enough, but has enough fruit, so it kind of like strikes that perfect balance.
Yeah,
for, like,
good
people.
with appetizers.
Exactly.
Could be good with dinner too.
Yeah, exactly. It's particularly good with heartier food than you might expect it to be. And sparkling rosé is one of like the wine world's secret treasures. Like it's like super flexible in terms of pairing with food. So
yeah. And this second one, is this a Chardonnay?
So it is. There's a little bit of Chardonnay in here, but it's primarily a grape called Garganega. And one of the reasons that I picked a white and a red that kind of hit on the same note for parties. And when you're just kind of taking it to, you know, your family's holiday dinner kind of thing, it's nice to take wines that people don't have a preconceived notion of whether they like or not. And we found that when we give advice on weddings, when we give advice on holidays, we often kind of recommend things like an Italian white. Okay, I know that. I understand that Italy has white wine, but here's a grape that you've not heard of. You haven't already decided whether you'll like it or not, and you'll just drink it and enjoy it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of the same idea. Kind of the same idea with the red, and we have that in our glass, so you're welcome to taste. So this is from southern France, and it's grapes that you may or may not have heard of. It's Syrah and Grenache, so those might be familiar to people. I think it hits on a lot of notes. It's kind of full in body, kind of warming. You know, as the weather is cold and you're eating all sorts of rich foods, it has some of those tannins there, but it's not so aggressive that, you know, a Pinot Noir lover is not going to like it as well.
So this would be great, white and red to bring.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And just kind of like make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this another red?
It is. This is Cab from California, but I was thinking that this is like a perfect gift wine. A lot of people do care about a package, right? It's nice when the label looks good.
We read books by their covers.
Right, exactly. I found out recently that 70% of people buy wine based on the label. So make sure that the wine inside is also good. I personally have given this many, many times at Christmas because it is Cab. That's, you know, the most popular grape, but it's from Paso Robles, so a little further south in California. So it has kind of like riper fruit. It has this really beautiful label.
Yeah,
small production, so people probably haven't had it before. So it's kind of like a nice gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one?
Yeah, so I love to just include dessert wine whenever possible. Dessert wines obviously are going to be sweet, but when they're really well made, they also have some acidity to them. Okay. And this is great because it does work. Obviously, it works with dessert, but it also is perfect with cheese. I include this in a French white wine class that I teach, just to kind of, you know, have this like, who was expecting that? You know, a little muscat with blue cheese. It also works with soft ripened cheeses, aged cheddars, all sorts of things. So if you wanted to get somebody an awesome, you know, Wisconsin-based gift, get them some awesome cheese, and then throw in a dessert.
And good for the Wisconsin holidays.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of cheese
Exactly.
lovers.
Exactly.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you so much for having us here, and hopefully this helps people know what to bring to their parties and holidays this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very intimidated when I go into a wine store.
Yeah, those are great suggestions and a tough assignment for Andy today.
Yeah, tough. I think she went home early that day.
Yeah, that was great.
Check it out, Madison Magazine, this month's edition for more on this and lots of good stuff. It's a cheese issue. It's good, it's good reading.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, still to come at 4, one of the fastest growing vacation options are cruise ships.
And one company is taking the industry over the edge.
The Celebrity Edge is heading out to sea, one of more than a dozen ocean cruise liners launching this year. I'm Wendy Gillette with more on how the industry is growing.
Take a look at this. Scientists used a drone to capture dramatic video of a volcano in Peru during a recent eruption. The drone's equipped with sensors to take measurements of the gases and particles in the plume that shoots up from the volcano so scientists can better understand eruptions. And besides that, the video is way cool.
It is very cool.
It is very
it's a
cool.
neat perspective you don't normally get to see.
It's Wednesday, December 5th. It's National Repeal Day. 85 years ago today, the 18th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution was repealed, bringing an end to the prohibition of alcohol in the U.S.
Very nice. Very cool. It's also International Ninja Day. Dress like a ninja, talk like a ninja, walk like a ninja, be a ninja. Yes.
It is also Bathtub Party Day.
That should have gone with the repeal day.
A day to skip the ordinary everyday shower and luxuriate with a good soak in the tub.
Splish splash.
You ever take a bath?
Not usually. I'm more a shower girl.
Shower. Yeah. I think I watched a scary movie when I was little about bathtubs, and I was done.
Done.
Over. No more relaxing.
You didn't see Psycho, because that was a shower scene.
No. Yes,
okay.
that was shower scene. So this is a different one. It was. I think someone came out of the drain.
Yeah.
Oh,
you.
Okay. No, not a fan.
Let's move along.
Okay. Weather. It's cold outside, but we actually saw some sun today. That was a nice change of pace. Sunset, of course. creeping up earlier and earlier. We will talk about the earliest sunset and your forecast for the weekend in just a few minutes. So we actually finally saw a little bit of sunshine today, so we can't exactly say that we're stuck inside of a cloud anymore. 11 straight days of having a cloudy sky. Our last clear day, we'd have to backpedal up a little bit to November 18th. And even in November, we only had 3 sunny days. Today, certainly not clear by any means. We just had those pockets of sun kind of popping on through for us. That was the good news for us this afternoon. But now, of course, sunset. We're not talking about sunshine anymore through the evening. Our Doppler track's fairly calm. To the north, we have a few flurries, but in southern Wisconsin, we're not talking about any sort of light snowfall or flurries for today through the next few hours at least. We have a few series of fronts, some areas of low pressure off to the west now. They'll be sliding on through as we get through Thursday evening. So we do have the slight chance to see some flurries later on tonight. And the same goes again for Thursday, but nothing that's really going to add up to much. Behind those fronts, it's going to be quite cold outside as we head to Friday morning. We'll get to that in a second. Looking at our future track, again, just a slight chance to see some light snowfall for us tonight into tomorrow. Tomorrow, hopefully getting a little bit of sunshine in the day. We've been banking on these clouds to clear on out of here. Finally happened for us a little bit today. Tomorrow we're looking at a variably cloudy sky. Slight chance again for a few flurry chances late on Thursday. And then as we head into Friday morning, that's when that cold air certainly arrives. Temperatures will be dropping to the single digits for us. For much of the area you travel north in Madison, it gets cold rapidly. Not only cold, but when you add in that breeze, of course, the wind chill is going to have us below zero as we get to Friday morning throughout much of the morning. Because of those temperatures, we do have an alert day in the forecast for Friday. The morning wind chill could be anywhere from 0 to -10. High temperatures throughout the day will be in the teens. It is going to be very cold. Definitely bundle up, especially anyone heading to the bus stop early Friday morning. You'll definitely want to bundle up. Looking at the big wind chill chart, of course, is temperature and our wind speed. That ratio there is what it's going to feel like outside. Our temps will be in the single digits, kind of hovering between 5 and 10 for much of central southern Wisconsin early Friday morning. When you pull in that wind speed as well, again, our temperatures will feel like we are below zero. Could be much colder outside. It'll feel even colder if our breeze picks up just a little bit, but we're going to let that breeze stay where it's at for right now. Currently, our sunset is at 4:23. Get ready. By Saturday, it gets to 4:22, and that's the earliest sunset of the year. From the 8th all the way through the 10th, that's where it stays, and then finally we'll start to back up just a little bit. So as we head to the 11th, it gets to 4:23 again, and then starts to get longer and longer. Now, our days aren't getting longer just yet. We aren't at the shortest day just yet. But we are at the earliest sunset of the year heading into this Saturday. Good news as we look to our 8 to 14 day outlook, we have a pretty good chance to have temperatures getting at least at average, if not above average. And that's kind of the trend that we're seeing as we look ahead to the end of our 10-day forecast. Also looks like we're going to be close to just an average amount of moisture, not expecting a big dry spell at the end of that 8 to 14 day outlook. Downtown right now, again, we still have that cloudy sky. Unfortunately, we didn't get too many breaks in the clouds today. We had a high of 32, fairly close to average, a little closer than what we've had for some days over the last week. 22 where we were at early this morning. Overnight we'll drop close to 20, and there is a chance for a few flurries, especially north of Madison, with that mostly cloudy sky tonight. Tomorrow, temperatures expected to stay pretty steady throughout the day. We'll hit a high of about 23, but we'll be hovering in the low 20s throughout much of the day. Again, as that front scoots closer, and then as it slides through overnight, it'll be very cold as we head Thursday night and into Friday. So just breezy outside tomorrow, about 10 to 20 miles per hour, and then thankfully that breeze will die down just a little bit heading into Friday. Friday, we do have that alert day because the temperature is cold heading into the morning. Expecting a little more of a clear sky through the end of the week and into the weekend, mostly because that front pulls away the cloud coverage. And then we're hoping for a clearing trend through much of the weekend. Temps stay below average into next week, and then we are noticing a little bit of a trend starting to get at least slightly closer to average towards the end of next week and next weekend. The potential there to see some moisture move in. Right now leaning more towards the mixed chance, but of course if our temps drop any lower, we won't get much of a mix. It'll just be leaning more towards the snow shower side of things for next Wednesday and next Thursday.
High of 18 degrees.
Pretty quiet otherwise.
Otherwise pretty quiet. Nothing really major moving on in. Again, even with that front coming through tomorrow night, it's just the chance for a few flurries for us.
So if the sun were ever to come out, it's only about 9 hours a day at this point.
At this point, we're there. Again, not at the shortest day of the year just yet, but we are almost to the earliest sunset.
It's rising later. That's why it's not, the days are getting shorter.
Correct.
Daylight.
Yes, daylight time. Our
I think I got
hours.
it. I got it.
Are we there? Okay.
I think I got it. All right.
Maybe. All right. We'll send you with some light reading on your cruise.
All right. Yeah, I'll going up on that. As I say.
Good.
All right. The popularity of cruise ship vacations is booming.
Yeah, speaking of, the innovative new Celebrity Edge begins its first 7-day journey this Sunday. It's one of more than a dozen ocean cruise liners launching this year, and many more are on the way.
Wendy Gillette reports from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
This isn't your grandparents' cruise ship. With the flick of a switch, you see one way the new Celebrity Edge cruise ship is different. Many rooms come with floor-to-ceiling windows that open halfway, and there's more space inside.
These rooms bring the outside in or the inside out, however you want to look at it.
There's also a French bistro with projected animation that turns your table into entertainment. And you'll find new technology on the outside of the ship. This is what Celebrity calls the magic carpet. It's a movable platform on the side of the ship that takes guests to the edge. It can transform from a restaurant to a launching dock for excursions, depending on where it's positioned. This is the first newly designed ship from Celebrity in 10 years, but it has plenty of competition. Upscale Seabourn Cruise Line launched Ovation in May, Carnival's Horizon debuted in April, and the world's largest cruise ship, Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas, arrived at its new Miami terminal last month.
Different people want different experiences, they want different activities.
And the number of cruise ship passengers has gone from nearly 18 million in 2009 to a projected 30 million next year. That's driving demand for more ships, and more are on the way, including 3 from the new adults-only Virgin Voyages cruise line.
We have 111 ships on order right now, which is between now and 2027.
And with only about 3% of Americans currently cruising every year, industry insiders see potential for bookings to swell as more people discover life on the high seas. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
And only about a quarter of Americans have ever taken a cruise.
That Edge thing looks really cool.
Yeah, I hopefully we'll see it because we're sailing out of Fort Lauderdale on Friday, and that ship is leaving Sunday. So
you'll see the magic carpet going up and down.
Maybe.
So where are you going on your cruise?
Just Southern Caribbean.
Okay.
I mean, it's a place to go this time of year. Aruba.
So
it'll be fun.
jealous.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It is going to be fun. So we're looking
Send us pictures. We'll share them with everybody. Okay, that'd be great.
Sounds good. Still to come at 4, it's worms in space.
No, it's not the latest sci-fi thriller. It is a real-life science experiment. We'll tell you all about it when Live at 4 continues.
Downtown Madison on this Wednesday afternoon. The sun is set now. As we mentioned earlier, thousands of worms are headed on a special mission to the International Space Station.
They took off today from Cape Canaveral in Florida on one of billionaire Elon Musk's rockets. Hillary Lane has the story from New York.
3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff.
SpaceX's Falcon 9 blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center with 36,000 worms wriggling on board. Their mission? To help answer some questions about the human aging process.
Their muscle structure and the chemistry, so their metabolism within the muscle, is very, very similar to humans.
Researchers at Lancaster Medical School in Britain will study the worms to see how their muscles react to conditions on the space station. They're hoping to figure out what causes the bodies of astronauts to get old quickly in space.
We see loss of bone mineral density, we see a loss of muscle mass and a loss of strength. These are the sort of things that happen in spaceflight, but they happen over a period of weeks to months as opposed to years.
The microscopic creatures will be on board the rocket for about a week before being frozen. Scientists say their work could also lead to new medical treatments.
So we think that some of the insight that we get from this experiment might be valuable for treating things such as type 2 diabetes and muscular dystrophy.
In mid-January, the worms will return to Earth, where in-depth research will begin. Hillary Lane, CBS News.
The mission was originally set for Tuesday, but was delayed after mold was found on food bars for a rodent experiment. What's going on?
That's a bad day. The rocket is also delivering turkey and other fixings to the astronauts for Christmas dinner.
Hopefully they keep everything separate.
Yes, yes.
Well, still to come at 4, are you in the market for a 3-row SUV? You can't do much better than a Honda Pilot.
When we come back, it's redesigned for 2019. We go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs to check out this family vehicle. That's when Live at 4 continues.
It is cold outside and the roads are actually looking okay for us right now. A lot of green throughout Dane County. The Beltline's still, of course, a little slow. That's the way things tend to go. Bouncing down towards Janesville, again, a lot of green as well. 39 seems to be looking okay. If we look over towards that Beltline area, again, speeds reduced just a little bit down to about 32 miles per hour west of Fish Hatchery Road. And then we're seeing a little bit of a clearing area there near Seminole Highway. Over towards Middleton right now, a little bit of a slowdown on University Avenue, but no major accidents to report anywhere. Things should be okay if you're getting ready to hit the road to head home or to go out. Plan on a pretty normal drive time for us.
All right, Dana, thank you. For classic car lovers, a visit to Madagascar's capital is a trip down memory lane. Vintage Renault 4Ls are everywhere. These French vehicles were manufactured between 1961 and 92, with more than 8 million of them sold around the world. They may be antiques, but local taxi drivers still use them here because they're cheap, fuel efficient, and easy to run. They're also tough and hold up in the island's bumpy roads.
That would make a statement tooling down the Beltline, don't you think?
I think they're 4Ls because it had a 4-horsepower engine or 4-cylinder. I don't know.
We just stumped Harvey.
Trying to ask Harvey here.
First introduced in April of 2002, a top-of-the-line Honda Pilot sold for $32,520.
Now in its fourth generation, the top-of-the-line Honda Pilot Elite sells for $49,000. Times have changed, but the basic concept has not. Let's go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs and check out the new 2019 Honda Pilot. Ultimate suburban soccer mom hauling vehicle.
Yes, soccer mom and hockey dad. Honda is right down the center for suburbia.
Right down the center for suburbia. That sort of sums up the Honda Pilot. But for 2019, the Honda honchos decided to beef up their big SUV.
They felt like they were too car-like before, and so they've redesigned the front end to make it more aggressive and feel more like a truck.
Less, dare we say, minivan-ish?
Yes. People who buy these vehicles have families, and there are two reasons they buy them. One, they need the space, and they could buy a minivan, but they don't want to because they want a vehicle that has more personality.
All good reasons to look at the Pilot, just don't expect to pilot a road machine.
It's not the car you buy because you love the way it drives. It drives fine. It's comfortable, it's quiet, it's all that good stuff. Yeah, you buy this, you know, as a family vehicle, so you're looking at room, you're looking at safety, you're looking at convenience, comfort, you're looking at economy. It's pretty reasonable fuel economy.
Boy, this is comfortable.
Yeah, it is. It's comfortable, it's quiet. And of course, with the heated and cooled leather seats, the back seats are heated, so Mike's comfortable back there today.
Okay.
You know, if Mike starts acting up here and go, hey, quiet down back there.
Those are the speakers in the back?
Yes.
Another reason people buy a full-size SUV is space.
Important things for these SUVs is storage area. Now this one is not best in class behind the third row. There's enough here, you know, if you need to do groceries and stuff.
But a quick pull and push here, and those third row seats fold down for lots of room. And speaking of that third row.
And now the big question though is,
the Harvey Briggs test.
How much room is in that third row? Let's see. The nice thing about this is you press that button, it moves right forward. That's great. Step in. It's a little high to get up there, but not bad. I mean, that's the
truck. You got room?
I'm here. I'm back here. My knees are barely touching the front. Dad, are we there yet?
Not yet, Harvey, but we have plenty of power to get us there in a hurry.
You know, got a really nice V6 engine in it, plenty of power. You've got a 9-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive here with torque vectoring. So if you get into snow situations, you can hit this button down here and switch it to snow mode, and it...
and a little snow...
There. Price on this is $49,000, but the base price on a front-wheel drive Pilot is $31,000. We are now approaching the area where these new SUVs, family cars, cost as much as my first house. So that just tells you how old I am and how cheap houses were back
And this may
there.
be more comfortable than your first house.
It definitely was. A lot nicer furniture, that's for sure.
And Harvey is here now. A lot of competition in this category.
Yeah, very tough competition in here. You've got the brand new Subaru Ascent, you've got the Toyota Highlander, you've got the Chevy Traverse. There are a ton of really good cars in here, and this is one of them. I mean, it's you know, you're really shaving hairs here.
It's tough to go wrong.
These
well,
cars.
$50,000 sounds like a lot of money, but most of the cars in this class are in that price range.
Yeah, they're
right?
all right in that price range. I mean, even the Kia Sorento we looked at a couple weeks ago was $48,000. So
a lot of people are leasing these.
Yeah, you're leasing these cars, or if you're buying them and holding them a long time. So you look at brands like Honda and you look at brands like Toyota because you know those are cars that 10 years down the road they'll still be going pretty strong.
And you're just back from the Los Angeles Car Show, and Honda showed off a new model.
Yes, they have a new Honda Passport, which is essentially that Pilot, but only a two-row version. So they kind of lopped a few inches off the back end of it to give them a vehicle in between the CR-V and the Pilot. So now they have a larger two-row, 5-passenger crossover.
And no new car, another SUV.
That's right, another SUV.
And that's, I mean, that's what's selling now.
It is, but you know, there were some manufacturers out there with new cars. Nissan had a new Altima. So cars aren't going away. We're just not seeing as many of them on the road now.
Yeah, I like cars. You like your SUV.
I like it. I have a small
crossover.
SUV, and I really like it.
And that's the beauty of the market today. There's something for everyone out there.
Yeah.
All right. And next time,
we have a car.
We have a car.
Yes.
We have a Toyota
Corolla. The best-selling car of all time.
Yeah.
46 million of them have been sold since 1966.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and they'll be coming out with a new one next year, but we've got the final version of this generation coming up next.
That'll be in 2 weeks. All right, Harvey, thank you.
Thanks, Harvey. Great to see you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.
We have some live pictures to share with you. This is always an awe-inspiring sight. Air Force One, this is the Bush family, as President George H.W. Bush is arriving back in Houston.
These are live pictures from Ellington Field in Houston. There'll be a brief ceremony there, followed by a motorcade escort to St. Martin's Episcopal Church, where an arrival ceremony will also take place. Mourners began lining up outside the church hours before his visitation is due to start. The first people in line arrived this morning, almost 10 hours before the church was scheduled to open to visitors. President Bush will be buried on the grounds of his presidential library in College Station, Texas. He'll be laid to rest next to his beloved wife, Barbara, who passed away earlier this year, and their daughter, Robin, who died at the age of 3. All eyes in the sky in Houston. It's been an emotional day across this nation, a day of mourning as President Bush returns home for the last time. All right, Dana's here with a final look at our forecast. Burr.
It is very chilly outside. This evening, we're looking at these clouds just hanging out with us. Unfortunately, we didn't see as much sun as we wanted to. We did get a few pockets in there. Over the next few hours, plan on temperatures staying in the 20s. That's really not going to change too much for us. Heading into tomorrow, we will drop close to 20 for overnight lows, but we don't hover around too much, plus or minus just a few degrees throughout the day. So we hold pretty steadily. 23 is what we're looking at as a high for Thursday. Our next front slides through Thursday night with the slight chance for a few flurries, and it's going to bring quite a cool trend for the weekend. We do have an alert day in the forecast for Friday, and the main reason for that, temperatures will be in the single digits Friday morning, and with the wind chill factored in, it's going to feel like we are below 0. So get ready for that on Friday. Tomorrow in the 20s, so again, maybe you can enjoy the 20s if that's an option. We'll be in the teens for afternoon highs on Friday. Friday will be much cooler outside for us.
It's supposed to be what? Upper 30s?
Mid-30s. Mid-30s. So about 34 is what our average is. So if we could be in the mid-30s, I don't think anyone would complain. But right now, again, we're looking at the 20s. Today, we did get close to the mid to low 30s for our afternoon high. So it wasn't too bad outside, too far from average today.
An alert day for the cold.
Correct.
Great. All right, David, thank you. Coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, we'll find out what's happening in the 608 this weekend.
Amy Fink will join us with that. And a number of people suffer from holiday depression. This can be a very difficult time of the year. We'll find out how to deal with it and how to avoid it coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.